this beautiful Christmas celebration in anticipation. I always say that in anticipation because we are still in Advent season, that many of them don't take it seriously. Only on 24th we are having the Christmas, and then the Christmas season begins. After that, not now. So we are still in preparation. Let's keep that in mind. There are places where supposed Christmas and all taking place, people having Christmas Mass, which is not right liturgically. Liturgically, the Christmas is only after 24th. For reasons in the institutions that we can have this Christmas, anticipated Christmas celebrations, because 24th they won't be with us. Not on the parishes. Having said that, I just want to give a message. The gospel text that is read to us by our Vicar General, that's something wonderful. The angel comes with the great news of joy to the shepherds, and they were terrified. And the angel tells them, don't be afraid, because behold, I have brought news of great joy for you. For you a child is born. For you a child is born in Bethlehem. And you will see him, this is a sign that I am given to you. You will see him wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in the manger. That's the news of great joy. Wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in the manger. Is it of good news? Just think of it. The angel is saying, don't be afraid, there's a good news for you. And the good news is, you will find a child wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. The angel comes with the great news of joy to the shepherds. And they were terrified. And the angel tells them, don't be afraid, because behold, I have brought news of great joy for you. For you a child is born. For you a child is born in Bethlehem. And you will see him, this is a sign that I am given to you. You will see him wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in the manger. That's the news of great joy. Wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in the manger. Is it of good news? Just think of it. The angel is saying, don't be afraid, there's a good news for you. And the good news is, you will find a child wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. Is it of good news? A child wrapped in swaddling clothes, poor, helpless, defenseless, totally dependent, and lying in the manger, a stable. How can that be a good news for us? The angel saying, if I were to be one of those shepherds, I would have asked the angel, come on, wait a little. What did you say? We are already poor. No house. We are with the sheep. And this whole night we are staying in the fields. And you are coming and telling us, one more child is born and lying in the manger, wrapped in swaddling clothes, not in the palace, not dressed in kingly vestments. What that child can do for us? How can that child be a good news for us? Today, it is said in Palestine, there is no Christmas celebration. And they said only they are going to have prayer service. I think there is the right Christmas celebration. Because we have been carried away by the external celebrations and we have not taken into ourselves the true meaning of Christmas, the real spirit of Christmas. And Christmas has become Xmas and it has just become a social festival and it has been commercialized. That's what the present Christmas is. Here in Petit, in this beautiful educational institution, our principal and vice principal, Father Devdas, with the help of the staff and in collaboration with the choirs from different parishes, they have organized this evening for us to reflect on this. When Adam and Eve were created, kept in the Garden of Eden, were they happy? Of course. But what did they long for? Of course, it is said the devil tempted them, the snake tempted them. What did they long for? Power. You will be like God, having great power. And that's why Eve ate that apple. Power. And today the good news, man has been from the beginning longing for that power. And the good news given to those poor simple shepherds is again a child lying in the manger. That cannot be a good news for us. Because it is a sign of poverty. It's a sign of rejection. It's a sign of people who have no place to stay, shelterless. It's a sign of low grade of people. It's a sign of even having no human dignity, reduced to be one among the animals, to be born in the stable. And that is it. That is Christmas. Is it going to give us anything great? But there lies the real power. Today when we celebrate Christmas, we should come to understand what is the real power. Every human being wants to be powerful, it is innate. But what is the real power? That power is there at the stable. That is the power. All of us are called to be empowered. We are not called to be cowards. We are not called to be people who are low and helpless and everything. We are created in the image and likeness of God. It's a great power. But do we realize that power? Christ, He was in the form of God, but emptied Himself, took the form of a slave, born like one among us, except sin. But that becomes the power. So what is the true power? That's a beautiful premise which I have written in even in my newsletter. The power, that is, the three premises. We all of us need to understand that. When power meets power, the outcome is always power struggle. The whole program today we heard this wonderful news if we had really paid attention and understood. They ended the whole Christmas carols with Blue Christmas. And of course the visuals helped us to understand what is the status of the world today. That's what man craving for power. Israel, Palestine, craving for power. Who is the powerful nation? And so war. When power meets power, the outcome is power struggle. Russia and Ukraine want to be powerful. No one wants to be lower than the other. I am better than you. I am powerful than you. So, war is going on. Power struggle is going on. Way to go to all those places. Among us, there is so much of power struggle. In our societies, in our political parties, there is power struggle. Which political party today wants to come into leadership and to be a servant of all? I don't think anyone. So all are hungry for power. But what is the real power? Having attained that power, are they really powerful? They struggle. Outcome is always power struggle, war, tension, discord, differences, rejection, jealousy, all these things. Go to the families. If the husband and wife, both of them want to be powerful, every day there will be Mahabharat. That's what power meets power. The power outcome is always power struggle. So the second premise is, when power meets vulnerability, the outcome is alienation. Alienation means alienate somebody, separate somebody. You don't become one. You remain always distinct, separate. Power meets vulnerability, like superpowers. The countries, let's say America. America helps the other poor countries. So America, a superpower, power. Other poor countries, vulnerable, dependent, helpless. And they help them, but they always keep them separate. America will never try to make the poor nations to be equal to them. Never. They always will be dependent. That's what happens everywhere. In the society, that's what happened. Even in the name of helping people, we help them and keep them there. You remain what you are. So, when power meets vulnerability, the outcome is always alienation. Not unity, not oneness, not communion, not equality, but always difference. But the third premise, when vulnerability meets vulnerability, the outcome is always intimacy, love, joy, peace, serenity, union, communion. Vulnerability meets vulnerability. That's why Jesus, who was in the form of God, in order to meet the vulnerability of mankind, he becomes vulnerable and he meets vulnerability. And the outcome is peace, joy, happiness, oneness, communion, fraternity, equality, freedom. These values. So vulnerability meeting vulnerability. That's why the feast of Christmas is a feast of vulnerability. If you want to really enjoy the real power, you need to become vulnerable. As Christ became vulnerable and he became power. Lying on the cross, Jesus on the cross, is it power? A man nailed to the cross, helpless. The same thing was the baby Jesus in the stable, helpless. If Mary had not lifted that child and breastfed milk, the child would have died of hunger. If Mary had not lifted the child and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, he would have died of cold. He could not save himself. He could not protect himself. He was dependent. He was defenseless, helpless. That is a child, that is power. Who realizes that power? Herod. King Herod. He was frightened of that little child, the helpless child, because there is power. He was frightened. That's why he was wanting to kill everybody. He wants to kill that power. He could not. The same helpless child, we see him in the cross, helplessly hanging. And the thief on the left, what does he say? If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross and save us. He could not do that. A challenge that the left side thief is telling. But he could not fulfill that. He could not show his power. That is human power. But the divine power was there. To the right man on the cross, the right side thief, to him he shows the power. The moment he accepts that powerless Christ on the cross, Lord, remember me when you come to the paradise. And Jesus said, this day, Today, you will be with me in paradise. The first person to go to heaven was the thief on the right side. That is power. The moment you accept that vulnerability, the moment you accept that simplicity, the moment you accept that poverty, the moment you accept that helplessness, and you join with the power that is Jesus, that is God. We, each one of us are in the image and likeness of God. If you realize that, that is power. Man can become so powerful. That's what we have. That is the real meaning of Christmas today. That's why I said Palestine, they are celebrating the real Christmas because they are experiencing that vulnerability. And God comes into the vulnerability. And that's why today is a beautiful, that Christmas, if you really go on deeply reflecting on it, that's tremendous. So how do we celebrate Christmas? So we should celebrate Christmas. We are all the time wanting to receive, wanting to hoard, wanting to become great, wanting to have power, wealth, money, influence, riches. We are craving for it, and the whole life we are wasting on that. But we are not really becoming powerful. We become slaves to this world. Without knowing, we are becoming slaves. Look at St. Francis of Assisi. Wed to Lady Poverty. Gave up everything, gave up the world, gave up every power, everything. Even his clothes which he was wearing, removed the clothes and gave to his father. And he took shelter under the bishop. Totally given up. But he becomes the most powerful person in this world. Today we say Tata, Birla, Zindal, Mukesh, Anil, Ambani brothers, and Adani, and all these Bill Gates, and all these are powerful people. Are they really powerful? Not at all. They are the most poor. They are the most poor. They are the worst slaves to this world. But Francis of Assisi, he gave up everything and he got everything. The sun became his brother. The moon became his sister. The wolf became his brother. The mosquito became his sister. The whole creation belonged to him. He became the most richest man. That is power. That is power. That is the real power that man can have. That is the power this helpless child in that stable came here to tell us. The Father himself loves you. Is that not sufficient for you? The Father himself loves you. Turn to the Father. Experience that love. Share that love with one another. Remove the differences between each one of us. And then become brothers and sisters to each other. And become one people of God. That is the purpose of the incarnation. That's why Jesus came into this world. That's why even in the reading that we heard, to the shepherds what he says, do not be afraid. I am here to give you good news of great joy. That will be for all the people, not only for Jews, not only for Christians, for all the people. Then the numerous angels come and they sing, glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace to all in whom he delights. So it is for all mankind. Christmas is for all mankind, to empower every person with the vulnerability, and which makes us to be one with each other. Vulnerability meeting vulnerability, and you enjoy that intimacy. That's what today the situation is in need of. Today when the world is divided on various divisive factors, race, culture, nationalities, caste, language, liturgy, and many other things. These are dividing mankind and tearing mankind into pieces. But the real thing that is going to unite us is this vulnerability. Once you empty yourself, realize the other as your brother, accept them, become one, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, then there is Christmas, not otherwise. And so let us realize the importance of this feast of the birth of Jesus, and let us take this the value that He is giving to us, and let us empty ourselves. Let us deny ourselves. Let us accept each other. Let us become brothers and sisters to each other. Let us realize that we have one Father who is in heaven, and we are all brothers and sisters, and that is the real spirit of Christmas. And with this spirit, I wish each one of you a very happy Christmas and a grace-filled New Year. God bless you all.